large agenda today to work through, so we want to be right on time. I want to welcome all of you who are visiting today. I'm sure you're here for a happy occasion, and we're really pleased to see you here. I want you to feel welcome. And as soon as the oath of office ceremony is over, we're going to take a break, and we have some refreshments out in the hall we'd love to share with you. So thank you very much on behalf of the board for showing up. We'll start with the pension board meeting. We'll open that up and ask for approval of the October 18 minutes.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Volunteer separations.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we have one volunteer separation this afternoon for you to approve. It is Kyle Wheeler, who was a volunteer 2017 and 2018, and he recently moved out of state to Colorado for a full-time job, so he won't be serving with us anymore.
Okay. That would be a long commute.
Yeah.
All in favor of
Motion.
the motion is made and seconded.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pension eligibility.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, we have one pension eligibility for you to approve this afternoon. It is Battalion Chief Rich Lindblom, who was with District 4 from 1987 to 2011.
Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Anything else before pension board? If not, I will call that meeting adjourned and call to order our regular Board of Commissioner meetings, and we will stand for
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with roll call. We'll start on my left here.
Henry Hollander. Dean Berkeley.
Larry McPhail.
Rich Crossman.
Bruce Hanson. John Crawford. William Burnett.
Joe Newchester. Okay, any public comments? Okay, we will move ahead with the oath of office.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my pleasure to bring 5 new employees before the board today for the oath of office and for their official badge fitting here at the department. So without further ado, I'd like to call all 5 of our new employees up front here. You can just stand and face the audience, it's fine. Squeeze on in. Commissioners, members of the audience, these are our 5 newest career firefighters who just recently graduated from the State Fire Academy, and we were glad to be able to go down there for your graduation and see you graduate. And they spent quite a bit of time training and getting ready for the job, and they've been through quite the process to be hired here at North Whatcom, and we're super proud of them. And there's going to be plenty of picture opportunities as we go through this process, and if you guys want individual pictures, be happy to do that. And as soon as we're done, we're going to move out into the hallway here, and we have refreshments for everybody, so hopefully everybody can enjoy that. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to swear you in. So if you raise your right hand and just repeat after me. I state your names.
I, Cody Bowman,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
to do my duty as a firefighter for North Whatcom Fire
to do my duty as a firefighter for North Whatcom Fire
and Rescue to the best of my ability,
and rescue to the best of my ability,
to serve my commanding officers with respect and dignity,
to serve my commanding officers with respect and dignity,
to serve the citizens of Whatcom County with compassion, courage, and integrity,
to serve the citizens of Whatcom County with compassion, courage, and integrity,
and to uphold the laws and constitutions of the United States of America,
to uphold the laws and constitutions of the United States of America,
the state of Washington,
the state of Washington,
and North Whatcom Fire and Rescue.
and North Whatcom Fire and Rescue.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very good. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to ask now for our badge pinning ceremony. We're going to start down here on this side. So, Delaney, if you have someone that would like to pin your badge on for you, feel free to come forward. If you guys want to just kind of scoot down here. Okay, thank you. Charlie? Seth, I get to do the honors for you? Beautiful, all right. Well, I can't promise I won't draw blood.
That's all right.
And I know, I put these on my own shirt, so I know I should be able to get this here for you. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Chief.
Congratulations. Yeah. Cody. Thank you. Commissioners, members of the audience, our newest firefighters. Jenny, any pictures need to be done?
Yeah, but they need
Okay.
to sign.
Please sign your papers. Right over here, they're gonna sign your certificates. Any group pictures?
Should you come up there, get pictures with all these?
Yeah, why don't we get a
Yeah.
group picture up here of the commissioners and everybody? We can do that. Move this one out of the way. You guys walk in. All nice and
A little higher, Jenny.
Okay.
Any other photos? Is that it, Jenny?
For me?
Is that it? Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to come out in the hallway and there's refreshments and we can get more pictures and things out there. We'll take a break.
Take it off 5 minutes later. Start out.
That was
Yeah, I know, I congratulations.
Too many
Me, myself, I'm rolling station 12, rolling doing shifts, so.
The extra TV now that's
But they'll get switched.
Oh,
Christian
pretty cool, man. Son-in-law, we don't know you guys yet.
Oh, okay.
Son-in-law. I don't blame him much.
Yeah. Well, well, that's all. Exactly. We all were that. And I said, we may get another so it'd be nice if we, you're not like, okay, not that big. I'd much rather take a picture and end up in litigation.
Here, that's it.
Actually, if you kneel down and use the chair seat, if you turn around and kneel down, you can use the chair as a table.
He's like, no. I know.
Oh, we brought this.
When I get here, yeah.
weeks ago, we had a presentation from another agency that was interested in helping us with our prior recruitment process. And ESCI would also like to make a presentation, and we're doing it by webcam today. And my understanding is they can see us, but we cannot see them, or they can hear us.
Sheldon, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
You can't see
I'm
us?
hoping that you can see my screen.
Yep. We've got your PowerPoint up.
Better to hear us than see us. All right, so the floor is yours.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, did you say for me to go, sir?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
great.
Go ahead.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Sheldon Gilbert, and I have the privilege of serving as CEO for Emergency Services Consulting International. We're a consulting firm that actually started there in the Pacific Northwest in 1976 that has a wide range of consulting and human capital services. In 2017, we merged with the Field Consulting Group, which was overseen by Dr. Cassie Fields, who specializes in executive recruitment, testing, test validation, administration, and those types of things. And so we've been working diligently together for the past 2 years, and we've come up with a number of methodologies and different approaches to executive recruitment and testing. I want to make sure that I'm up to speed on the conversations you all have had with Cassie. I've had some with her, but I certainly want to make sure that I'm up to speed, and that is that you are looking for a recruitment of a fire chief for your district. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And that this process, as you see it, will be moving forward here in the near future. The opening is currently there. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So the way that we approach these is that this is very much customer client centric process. This is probably one of the most important fits for your board and your organization and your district. And so we want to make sure that whatever we design and whatever we do and conduct is to your specifications. As much of it is created and input by you, with us giving you the expertise, the validation, and the bandwidth and recruitment powers that we can bring to the table. So I think what I would like to do is kind of just generally go through the elements that we offer in an executive recruitment, and then kind of run you through what has seemed to be one of the more popular approaches for fire chief recruitments. But there are a number of different elements to the recruitment process. Of course, the first element and the most important element is going to be to meet with you and develop a profile for what you want in a candidate. And talking to you about what the needs of your district are, what the history of your district is, what the strengths and weaknesses of your district are, and what you're looking for from a leadership perspective. From that profile, we'll create a position profile and, of course, put together all of the announcements and all of the minimum qualifications and all of the duties and all of the required and desired skill sets, as well as the salary benefits and other elements that are important for the actual executive recruitment. And then we will embark with you and for you to do an executive search, which is the first element there. And what you're looking at on the screen is some basic pricing that we have by population bracket for those who choose to use us through a process, or those who choose to use us through what we call the GPO process, which is the National Public Procurement GPO government public process, where we were awarded a contract nationwide, and so we have some reduced pricing that was awarded through a competitive bidding process. So when you look at these pricings, you're going to see a little bit of a difference, and that is the difference for the GPO versus the non-GPO price. The population of your district, are you between 50 and 100, or are you over 100?
Under 50, actually.
Under 50? Okay. I wasn't sure. I looked at your annual report and I couldn't see the population. So the first two columns are the ones that would be relevant for you. And so once we went ahead and did that position profile, put a very nice, appealing announcement and brochure together, we would then go ahead and do goes out to 10,000 plus members nationwide. We would put it in the daily dispatch, certainly focusing on the western areas, and that goes to 20 plus thousand people in that job board. And then we have an ESCI list that we distribute flyers and recruit off of, which we have over 10,000 members on also. So it would go out to tens of thousands of individuals and or organizations, and in addition to us reaching out word of mouth and trying to get people who we think would be a good fit to see if they would be interested in applying. So you'd have your position profile, you'd have your nice flyer, and then we would give you extensive amounts of distribution. The other thing that we offer, in addition to obviously responding back and putting in an application, is that some people like to do a pre-assessment questionnaire. A pre-assessment questionnaire can be useful in some instances if you really want to have a candidate demonstrate how motivated they are, how familiar they are, and how ready they are to take on an organization, a district of your size, a department of your size. And those pre-assessment questionnaires can involve policy questions, administrative questions, risk questions, just general community demographic questions, whatever it is that you think is important. We can help you word those. Those will be sent out. Those will be brought back. And then we would, in fact, take those, correct those, work on those. We can grade them and rate them and weight them in a number of different ways, everything from content to grammar to writing to the sophistication of their answers to the relevant experience and how they integrate it into your demographic. So those are a number of things we could do with a pre-questionnaire. You can do any or all of these elements I'm talking about, so this is more of a menu choice than a select package, but I will kind of cover in a minute one of the more popular things that people do. One of the next things we do is we design and conduct interview processes. We develop questions. Those questions are validated by our industrial psychologists. They are scored. They are vetted. They are then accumulated together. And we would help administer those questions. We would help you set up those panels. We would help you recruit those panels. We would take on the full breadth of responsibility for working with you to write the questions, getting the questions approved, and conducting the interview panels and scoring those panels and make sure that they're valid and validated and defensible. Another element that some folks utilize for fire chiefs, a lot of folks don't, quite honestly, is more of an assessment type center. An assessment type center is used very frequently for deputy chiefs, assistant chiefs, and such. Not always for fire chiefs, but sometimes it is. So it's very important for you, for instance, to have someone who's a very good public speaker, has the ability to present to the community, or you want to see their ability to manage disparate and differing degrees and levels of problems through in-baskets or writing exercise. You want to make sure that they're a good writer and they can do good staff work and those kind of things. These are the types of exercises we can develop with your point of contact. We can make sure that they are administered and scored and weighted in accordance with what you're looking for. And that can be a part of the process also. And then if you did an interview combined with a assessment center type process, which can have any number of events in it. Most fire chiefs positions don't have operational simulated call events in them anymore, but in some cases they may. So if you have a need where your fire chief is going to be deemed to be operational and run incidents, then you may want to have a tactical problem in there too. So those are the types of things that we do, and then we of course would do all of the scoring, all of the vetting. We would be the point of contact with the candidates. We would handle everything for you. We would give you the list. We would work with you to determine how you wanted to determine which candidates you all interview for your final hiring process and facilitate you through that process. We also can conduct and have individuals who conduct background investigations that are DOJ, FBI compliant, and we can do that for you also for cost per candidate. Probably the most popular thing that we've been getting with departments recently is around obviously an executive search with questionnaire and then 3 rounds of interviews that we would set up and work with you on. And that is usually with the community, where you would bring in some community members or sampling of the community or some key individuals in the community or have a town hall type meeting. And there would be some questions that could if you wanted to do that. And then you can also have a commissioners panel if you wanted to do that as a fourth panel. The way that we usually do that for the department, if you wanted the department personnel to be able to see the top 2 or 3 candidates, is we usually have them submit their questions. We would scrub those questions and prepare those questions, and then we would administer those questions to the top candidate or candidates in front of a group that would not be interactive with the group, but they'd be able to answer so they could hear how these top individuals would in fact respond to the questions that came from the troops. And so there's a lot of flexibility, a lot of different pricing based on your population threshold. You're probably, for a complete process, going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15,000 to $16,000 would be my guess. And that's just a swag based on what we have here and whether you chose to go with GPO or not GPO or do a competitive bid or whatever you wanted to do moving forward. I will say that we have all of our individuals who will be conducting and administering the test will be under the direct supervision of Cassie Fields, Dr. Fields, our PhD, and they all are certified in master's or PhD industrial psychologists. And then we have subject matter experts to help on the development of the test on our end, who are all our tenured fire chiefs from similar demographics or types of fire departments throughout the nation. So those are some of the things we bring to the table. That's a lot, so I'd like to open it up if you have any questions or thoughts or if there's anything I can clarify.
Questions, anybody?
Well, this is Commissioner Ansel. I'm looking at your costs, and you said between 15 and 16. Which items on that list are you pulling out then?
Well, I'm just going to assume generally that we're going to do the executive search along with the interviews and some sort of multiple interview panels with a selection interview. If you do some sort of a assessment center along with the interviews, we pull $5,000 out of the total price, just because of the economies of scale and that they're closely aligned. But I can just tell you that most of ours are coming in between 15 and 17 based on the options that you choose.
And how long typically do the processes take?
So we can, it depends on some of your needs for posting, but we can get the job profile together and get the posting out within 2 to 3 weeks if needed. And then you usually post it for somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 days. And then it's a matter of how many candidates you have, how many elements you have, where they're traveling from. But it is not uncommon to move these things through within 90 days to try to have your chief on board.
How wide is your search area typically for something like we're looking at?
Well, based on how we post and how we recruit, you could easily get interest nationwide if you didn't want us to do that. We have had instances. We did a modified process for Astoria, Oregon, where we stayed pretty much in the Pacific Northwest and the Washington, Oregon area and reached out to specific individuals that we felt might be a good fit and did kind of an abbreviated recruitment. So I think there's opportunity for input. If you really want to do a big search and see what's out there for those who are interested in your organization, we could do that. If you wanted us to stay more focused on the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast or the Western states where there's a little more consistency around fire districts, labor relations, and the different things that are experienced out there, we can do that too. So we can ramp this up or ramp this down based on your desire.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, I don't think I have any questions.
No, I'm sorry, no.
Okay, this is Christian Boston. I'm the chair of the committee, and it looks like all our questions are answered for now. Thank you very much, and we will be in touch.
Sheldon, could you send us a copy of that by email?
Yeah.
So we can put it in the records?
You want a copy of the
Yeah, the price sheet that you
brief discussion on this before we leave this area. This is the second of these cases we've had to help us with this. These two, and if so, what process would we go through to pick one of these two that
I'm satisfied with these two myself, from what I see.
I think the two that we've seen and heard from is sufficient, as we know this board can also perform those actions without consultant as we've done it before. So I think we have enough experience in this board to make that decision.
John?
I'm satisfied with what we have now in seeing both presentations. I don't think it would hurt maybe to get one more just to see what's out there.
Do we know if there are any more out there?
The only other one that we used in the past was Ron Haraki locally. He's, I think, typically more of assessment lab for internal promotional processes versus doing chief searches. I don't know if that was consistent with what you understand too.
I would have to inquire.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what his company's full range is, but he did, we did hire him to do our assistant chief process. And he's much more flexible on cost as far as how much interaction the district takes on versus what he does. That's the only good thing about that. So, you know, depending on how much time you have to help put things together, kind of bases his prices on that. So he's local. He's a retired assistant chief in Seattle, has his own company doing this stuff. So we've been used a lot around this area.
It's very assessment lab oriented for promotional processes. We used it in Bellevue, so most of the time, the last 10 years, I think. But, I don't know if he has experience at this. It might be worth at least just reaching out to him and asking him, and see what he says. He may have a recommendation himself of maybe one of these two companies or another one, if he wasn't interested or that was his expertise. I don't think we as a board have the time or resources or validation to do this on our own. And I know it costs money, but I think it's money well spent to hire people who do this for a living and have already probably vetted a ton of the candidates across the country. So I am in favor of hiring a service. I think it would be worth at least giving Mr. Haraki a call and asking what he thinks, since we did use him for our assistant chief process.
Okay.
We might have some suggestions.
That sounds good to me.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
Dean?
Well, I still don't understand why we don't have time as the board. That's what we signed up for, to do our own vetting. So, again, that's my comment. I think, you know, we've done this before to save the money, keep it inside the community. That's the way to look at it. I don't discredit these consulting firms. They, you know, they're good at what they do. But again, we have the experience. We've done it before, and I don't see why we can't do it again. That's what we signed up for. So that's my opinion.
Commissioners, I have just a recommendation for you, and that would be that they discussed in the presentation on whether you want to do just a strictly interview process or have a process, a larger process that you can evaluate different aspects of the job, like tactical and all that. And I can tell you that the fire chief position in this department does probably require an assessment center, because we are tacticians. We have to respond as battalion officers. You know, we do a lot more than just an executive chief does. So something to consider when you're going out looking at prices, that you might want to decide how you want to do that. Whether you want to just have an interview process and find out their background, and if they have any kind of experience, or actually test them on that experience to be the chief here.
Chief's got some valid points.
appreciate your opinion and your input, Dean. And I think the feeling I get from the rest of the board is that we want to actually hire somebody else to do this. Am I correct in that? Okay.
I don't think I have the ability myself to tackle
Not
that
fair.
job.
Just, like I say, we got to hear each other, so that's how it works.
So, who would like to contact this company? Anybody want?
I will call you.
Want to do that?
Sure.
Then let's put it on the agenda again for, next meeting. I don't want to drag this out, but I don't want it to hurry either. I don't think, we need to panic and move that quickly, but we do want to move along. But, so the next step would be see if he's interested, and if he is or not, then the step after that would be to select one of the 2 or 3 moving forward, as I understand it.
Can you give me his phone number? I'm sure we've got records.
I have the contact.
Do you have it? Okay. Before I go today, if I could get that. I don't know if I have it. Email it to me.
I can do that.
All right.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. We will now resume our regular meeting, and we will open a public hearing on the 1% increase question. So this will be a public hearing where there is people have an opportunity to address the board on this issue. Has anybody signed up to do that, or anyone wish to do that? Okay. So the question before us is in the form of a resolution 2018-16, which is the 1% increase. Chief, do you want to address that or no?
Sure, I can just give a brief overview to the commissioners. You know, every year we're required by the state of Washington to fill out a resolution to ask for a 1% increase to our budget. This is Washington state law. Every public agency that's a taxing district is governed by the 1% maximum increase per year of your budget. In order to get that 1% increase, the board has to adopt this resolution. A majority of the board has to adopt it. And it's spelled out within the resolution that we are only allowed to take 1% over our last highest lawful levy. And that amount is in the resolution. That amount is $6,009,023.19. And 1% of that is $60,090.23. So we are able to ask for $60,090.23 increase to our budget for 2019.
One question, do we get the 1% every year?
Not every year. Yeah, there are some years that the price deflator is lower than 1%, and so you would not get your full 1% in those years unless you did a special resolution to ask for that extra few tenths. And so some years you'll see that we have 2 resolutions. We have this resolution for the 1%, and then we have the resolution for the special circumstances to get the additional. So those are the only years that we have to do something extra to get our 1%. But typically, no, you do get your 1% every year as long as you ask for it. And the state will move your levy up or down based on assessed valuations for that. So if you're topped out, your levy's topped out, you may not get your 1%. So,
Okay.
but we're not topped out on our levies.
So if we were at $1.50, we couldn't get it. Is that true, or can you get it if you're at $1.50?
You're capped out
Right.
at $1.50.
Right.
Yeah, so if getting the full 1% would result in an increase of your levy rate above $1.50, you wouldn't get the full 1%.
So we're limited to $1.50.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion. I move to approve resolution 2018-16, 1% increase.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those approved. And that will close the public hearing, special hearing for that, and we'll resume our regular Board of Commissioners meeting with the consent agenda. And I think I'll see you here. Okay, is there anything from the consent agenda that anyone would like to pull out to discuss before we go ahead?
I had a couple of grammatical corrections, but then there was the numbers, and I think they were correct in our budget presentation.
Yes.
But they were different.
I corrected them, there was 2 pages with different numbers on them,
Right.
and I used the page I shouldn't have. So I corrected them. I can show
But
you.
the numbers
after.
we got in our budget presentation were the correct
Yeah.
numbers, the 200,000 and sorry, you weren't in
I'm
that.
not
You
in
weren't
this
in that.
conversation, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It looked like either a transposition or adding issue, but
Yeah.
bottom line is the numbers that you presented are the correct numbers.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Welcome, Harry. Any other comments or questions on the consent agenda? All right. Just to briefly review what is in the consent agenda this month. Meeting minutes from the October 10th special meeting, minutes of October 18th, and the work session on October 18th, the special meeting on November 1st, the staff reports and the financial reports, and then the vouchers. The union back payroll in the amount of $193,396.24. Direct deposit payroll of $315,371.97. Non-direct payroll. Non-direct payroll of $166.55. Benefits voucher $207,871.23. Monthly expenditure vouchers, $60,216.72. Capital projects voucher, $13,349.69. And capital projects facilities, $16,009.87. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I move to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Unanimous. Anything from the local?
Kind of wrapping up the year with some of our community outreach projects. Last month, our local distributed a little over 400 coats through Operation Warm to students at the Kendall Elementary School. You probably recall, you've heard me talk about it before. It's a nationwide project to provide warm jackets to underprivileged kids. Our local took that on about 4 years ago, and it's grown every year since. It's the second time we visited Kendall. We use reduced and free lunch enrollment as our guide to pick the school. So we did that last month. We're currently helping the Community Assistance Program in Blaine with our annual Thanksgiving meal give out. I'm sure most of you are aware of that as well. We just brought 1,600 pounds of potatoes. That was the first load of food over from Bedlington Potatoes day before yesterday over to Blaine, and got to sign up. The distribution is going to be next Tuesday for the meals, the turkey dinners with all the fixings, and the famous pies from all the ladies at the local churches.
270 families plus.
270 families plus, thank you, Mike. That we are always kind of a big part of. They use us as the muscle and the distribution. And the district's always assisted with that, with the on-duty crews, and lots of off-duty people come with their families. And of course, everyone is welcome to come join. It's always a fun time to just distribute those meals. And then we're just kind of wrapping up our year and looking for the remaining, for the next, the next projects to go on for next year. So those are our two big ones as of late. So we've been pretty quiet going on. The ball, the Community Firefighters Ball, which benefits our Benevolent Foundation, is New Year's Eve this year. So yeah, looking for those flyers. Of course, you're all welcome to attend that as well. So.
Chuck,
Thank
this
you.
is Chuck,
Yes.
Tuesday, the 20th, when you're putting the meals together, what time is that going to start? Is it the same?
The distribution starts at 11, I think it is.
Okay.
11 could be
You're
11:30,
putting the
but
stuff together.
well, it's all being done by volunteers last week and this week.
Okay.
Or actually, this week is the big build of the boxes.
Okay.
And then Tuesday, we bring the turkeys, the milk and the butter. And then by then, when we do the Tuesday, all of the baskets are already lined on the floor, color coded for family size, and they're already pretty much built, and we're just throwing in the last few items that we deliver. And
Don't
then,
you do that at 8:30?
pardon?
In the morning?
Yeah, about 8:30. And then the distribution of the baskets begins at about 11 and commences at about 2:30. And there's a handful of vouchers that the family is so small that they are given a voucher and they go to Cost Cutter, and then the meal is purchased that way for them.
Do you have specific need for help at any specific time?
The big time is when the turkeys arrive. That's always a big offload. Just 270 plus turkeys.
I pick them up from Costco at 7:30, so I'm usually back here by about 8:30. Don't need help at Costco because we load them with a forklift there. But then unloading my trailer takes.
Hopefully not one at a time.
No, by the pallet. So 8:30 would be a good time, I think.
8:30 is a perfect
You want to
time.
help unload the turkeys?
Yeah, we kind of help distribute them in the boxes, and then a little break, and then the distribution begins.
And that's the same location, right, up by Costco?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Cost Cutter Mall
Yeah.
there. So if you didn't infer by that, Mike Nelson, new lieutenant here on B Shift, has kind of taken that task on, organizing that for the membership of the fire district for as long as I can remember.
19 years.
I won't put a date on it because that dates us all, but it's all his, a lot of his own time to do that. So it's certainly a noble thing he's been doing. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chuck, how many volunteers you guys, or Mike, how many you guys got to show up and unload those turkeys usually?
It varies. I mean, Tuesday the interest really grows because that's when we really make our contribution toward it, the muscle, so to speak. But we'll get we have community volunteers that help, but they really rely on this group to load them into the baskets and carry them out with the people. And we probably get a dozen or 2 dozen people, kids and.
The reason I'm asking is Team Gata, our junior speed steel shooting team from Custer. Okay, they're, just to give them a credit, they're the fastest junior speed steel team in the nation as of this year. They do a lot of community work, and I can come to the other coaches that I work with and ask if our 8 members can come and help Tuesday morning and take some time off school as part of that. That's why I'm asking. So I just didn't know if you had enough, or because they want to do that too.
We do have enough, I believe. That part of it really is managed by the community action group, the community action program that is already in place, and they're probably right now doing stuff.
Okay.
But they hold as much room as we bring in, and we try to bring our little kids and wives and stuff if we can. There's always room for 8 more.
Okay.
Really.
I'll mention it, and I'll just touch base with you, Chuck. Just
They're welcome to show.
Just show up.
We'll always put somebody to work. If they can't, we always make do. There's always plenty. It really is a fun time. We all kind of get together and just kind of drop our badges and bugles and everything, and we all just kind of hang out, and it's a really fun time to just mingle amongst us and with the community, and they of course just love it to pieces, right? So it's a good thing, and I can say that I've brought my kids in the past. It's a good I guess appreciation for what you have to know that we're helping people, and we got quite a few members that come in off duty, of course, to help with their families, and so there's always more than enough, but there's always room for more. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with, like I said,
Yeah.
with community, and this group is now really starting to push more community.
Yeah,
kids, so.
they certainly be welcome, yeah. Thanks.
Well, and just know that this year the senior center has always cooked a meal on Thanksgiving. That is not happening this year. It wasn't always the senior center. It was the VFW hall from Birch Bay that would volunteer and staff it and cook the meals. That is not happening this year at all. And it was a little too late to get somebody to step in and kind of take that over for this year. They're hoping to regain that next year, but that's gonna be a large impact in the community, not having those meals to go to. And any of our leftover stock from the basket program, that's where that stock would go, there in the food bank, the non-perishables food bank, and the stuff that needed to be used up to the senior center. And that's just not gonna happen this year. But there still is need, and if you wanna bring eight kids, that's great.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
That's it, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to commissioner meeting reports. Anybody have any? Okay,
Have one.
okay.
Last night, Wednesday evening, I attended the commissioners' meeting at in Bellingham at our office. We didn't have a real big turnout. There was apparently several conflicts of scheduling. Some had to be out of state, and some had other meetings. So it was kind of a smaller meeting, but I did pick up on a few things. Some of these I'm not aware of, and so I'll just kind of touch on them. They did say they're still making progress on that wing. I think it's a wing of a hospital that's going to be out somewhere towards Bakerview, and I don't think they've broken the dirt yet for it, but it has 32 beds. That's what they're planning on, having 32, and so they don't have the ambulance doesn't have to go to the hospital. They can go to the special wing, and half of the wing, 32 beds, half of it is going to be dedicated to alcohol and drug problems, and the other half will be dedicated, I think, to like auto accidents or somebody falling off a ladder or something like that. So they hope to have that up and running by 2020. And another thing that I was not familiar with, and I don't even know what the name of it is, probably some of you do, but St. Joseph Hospital and the fire department, and there's quite a few, they had something like 70 firemen involved in this, went to Cedar Woolley School, and they run the kids through some kind of a medical test, and there was 240 students that they run through, and about 10% of them, they pick up some kind of a problem with their test, and then of course they're referred on. But have any of you heard of the St. Joseph doing? Well, anyway, you have, Joe?
Well, we've done it here in Whatcom County before, at the high school. It's called Teen Screen.
Yeah.
And it is a way that we go through and do an evaluation on the students there. And you're right, it's picked up some things over the years that have been life-saving things as far as cardiac things go, that have really helped these kids ahead of time. So our crews have been part of it now 3 years, going on our third year, I think. So it's a great program. It really is.
They discussed that program, and the interesting part was that was Cedar Woolley with 240. Their next stop, which is, I don't know, next week or two, is at Blaine. They're going to go through the Blaine school.
Yeah, they moved from high school to high school.
Yeah, so that was kind of an interesting piece of information I was not familiar with. Another thing that, see if I got, I'm sure Henry probably knows about this, the Fars Tower on H Street up here, they have, of course, it's been a continuous small problem, but they've been adding more and more equipment to the tower, climb up there and hang whatever. Well, it's got to the point where the tower actually has to be engineered to handle all the extra equipment they're putting on it. And it's supposed to be, the tower is supposed to be inspected once every 3 years. The last inspection was 2002. So they think somebody's going to get a bill in order to hang more equipment. They're going to get a bill for having that thing re-engineered to make sure it'll handle all that weight up there. So I'm sure Henry's kind of.
It's on J Tower. It's actually not far from where you live.
Oh,
It's that tower.
and it's private, or not privately owned, but not owned by us.
No, it's a private citizen owns the tower.
Oh.
And the cables have been enlarged to carry more weight, and they did that work after their last engineering study. But in order for a technician to climb that tower, it needs to be certified every 3 years. And the owner, Jim, hasn't done that in quite a few years. So Fars is working with him to get that done as quick as we can. Our goal was to have that up and running this year, and we're just not going to make it. But it's going to greatly improve our radio transmissions, because right now we're coming off of the water tower here halfway up the hill, and it's at least 450 feet higher. and it should significantly increase our radio coverage in the Blaine Birch Bay area. So we've been working pretty close to 2 years to get that radio moved. And we got the radio license, which takes about 6 months, because you gotta go through Canada to get that, because it's within a certain range of the border, and then that gets denied twice, and that's customary. And then the third time, it doesn't get, it always goes that way. So we've been working all the steps, we finally get everything in line and get ready, okay, let's go. Well, then there's no engineering certificate on the tower, so we can't climb it to put our equipment on, so that is the next step, you're right.
This is not related at all, thank goodness, but I had a neighbor on the other side of me. Apparently this is on this side of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
A neighbor, which I didn't even know him, but he goes all over the United States climbing and working on towers. And here about less than a year ago, he was in Missouri, and he went up with 4 men. He's the owner, with 4 men up the tower. He went up to the 200-foot level. The tower supposedly was 2,000 feet high, which I have trouble believing, but that's what they said it was. Anyway, he got up to 200, and they were doing something they weren't supposed to, and the tower came down quick, and it killed him, and the other 4 guys walked away. Can you imagine being 200 feet up and walking away from, but it killed the owner, my neighbor, and so, yeah, no fun. So that basically covered most of everything I had.
Henry, just to interject, that tower and the certification, if it helps, that's what our family does, is build those communication towers, big monotubes. We have the engineers on staff.
Yeah.
So.
It's not our tower, but I'll let Jim.
Understood,
Jim
yeah.
Sportos is the owner.
If they,
I'll certainly let
they
him
can
know.
reach out, we can get it certified or
Yeah,
whatever.
because he's the owner, he has to pay, or at least he has to order.
Yes.
There might be some question on who's gonna pay or contribute
Fair
towards
enough.
the engineering, but, yeah, I'll certainly let him know.
Yeah, and we can look after that, because it's not that expensive, so just to let you know.
No, and the work is done, it just needs to be verified by an engineer now.
Fair enough.
Will do.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Larry. Other meeting reports.
I attended several. I went to the recruit graduation in Snoqualmie. If you've never done that, I think it's very inspirational and worthwhile to go. And because it was right after a huge rainstorm, we had the opportunity to see Snoqualmie Falls at club stage, so that's pretty impressive. But pretty cool. Our recruits were honored 2 Bulldog Awards and 1 first due engine company. So that was out of 25 recruits. I think we showed very well up there. So that's always fun to do. And then that kind of got me inspired to go see these folks come back here and go to work. So on the 7th, I went up to Station 61 and watched them do a targeted rescue drill with Captain Jorgensen, Davidson, and Schmidt were all 3 there. That was enlightening to watch them. They're all doing really great. And then 2 days later, I went to the extrication drill at Station 12 in the pouring down rain, which was fun, and watched Captain Jorgensen put on an excellent extrication class for the recruits, and they got to break windows and tear doors off and do fun things like that. So I think that contact was helpful to see that, you know, the district actually cares about them and welcome them back, and so they were appreciative that someone showed up. I attended the Blaine City Council meeting with Chief Hollander on the 13th. There was nothing overly exciting that happened there. Got to hear the new fire chief, new fire chief, I don't know, new police chief speak, and made contact with him, and so this morning he was speaking to the Simyama Men's Club, which I attended and met with him again, and the study that they had done is called Loan Executive Management Assistance Program, LEMAP, that's their report, their booklet that they got from this group that came in and made recommendations as to what the department hasn't done, needs to do, should be doing, and how to move forward. Which was intriguing to me because that's kind of something we've been talking about, is hiring a consulting group to go out, people who are professionals in the industry, and do an assessment, a non-biased assessment of what we do here, and give us a roadmap as to where we can be going. So for me, it was interesting to hear him and see his excitement and his desire to move forward with some of the initiatives that they had identified. And I don't know, it sounds like he's making some good progress. I won't put you on the spot, but
we're getting where we need to be.
You guys are getting in
We're
shape.
not that far off, but there were some critical areas that we need to move forward on.
And it was nice to hear, I mean, at the council meeting, you know, one of the officers' wives spoke about the need for adding additional resources, because there are times when there's only one officer on duty, and the council heard that and, you know, is working with their budget. I think they've got a new officer coming on the end of this year. The resource officer for the school will be full-time, and then they'll add an additional officer next year, with the hopes, I think, in the chief's mind, of adding an additional officer as soon as the city council's budget will allow. So same thing, same growing pain, same issues, same need for money and more staffing and provide better services. But I was intrigued. I think he's a pretty good guy, and might be useful for us to reach out to him and maybe coordinate some stuff, especially, in my opinion, if we have any incidents, big incidences at the school. It'd be nice to have a working relationship with the police before something big happens. So
We've always had a good, over the years, always had a great relationship with them. So.
Yeah, and then Chief Haslett, he's always, you know,
And we have made contact with them already to talk exactly about what they're saying.
Perfect.
It's happening.
Good. Awesome. So that's all I got.
Got anything?
No, but everyone's my meetings.
All right. Great.
Worked out good.
Yeah, all worked out.
He's smiling.
Okay, any legal issues?
No legal reports.
Okay. Unfinished business, auto aid agreement.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I have before you this afternoon an interlocal agreement between the City of Bellingham, Fire District 4, and Fire District 21 to provide automatic aid. This is a culmination of about 2 years of meetings between North Whatcom and the City of Bellingham to hammer out an agreement that will allow better service to the customers of both the city and North Whatcom. This all came about and was initiated by a mitigation agreement at District 4 where the City of Bellingham did a Pac-Man annexation of their area. And as part of the mitigation payment, it was agreed that we would work out an auto aid agreement between District 4, or North Whatcom totally, and the City of Bellingham. And we can only see good things happening from that agreement. And what this agreement basically, if you had a chance to read it hopefully, but what it basically says is that we will respond as closest unit into each other's areas despite the geographical boundaries. So this is going to affect mostly Station 12 or District 4, Station 12, and most likely Station 69, North Whatcom, because they both boundaries of the city there. And we will respond into those areas of the city that we are closer to in those areas, and there's quite a few that we are closer to, and handle those calls. And the city will also respond in the areas of North Whatcom that they're closer to. And so we will see a benefit to the community, at least, of getting the closest unit to the scene and getting help to those individuals that have the issues faster in those areas. There's no money changing hands here. This is pure automatic aid. There's no fees or anything. If we respond in their area and do a transport, we bill just like we normally bill the patient. They do the same in our area. concerned about there. And then the importance of having an automatic gate agreement is to share like resources. So you know that when a fire engine or an ambulance shows up from the city, that they have the same training and same manpower levels that you do and vice versa. And so part of this agreement discusses that in the appendix of what the minimum requirements will be to be involved in the automatic gate agreement. And we will be meeting those requirements as of January 1st. And we plan, if the commissioners approve this, we plan to start January 1st with this agreement and move forward and see how it goes. The agreement can be terminated by either party at any time, and it's usually it's renewable every year for continued use. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions that you have about the agreement before you have discussion.
I have one question. Those houses around Station 12, yeah, how close does Bellingham come to the station?
Well, the city of Bellingham, their UGA, or their urban growth area where they can annex, runs down Britton Road, down to near North Shore, right down in that area on the west side of the road. And it covers all of the area that the station is at and across the street. And so they've recently annexed the area across the street from Station 12.
Oh.
So the city now, as of, I believe in April, that will be the city. And so it's very, very close to the proximity of Station 12. And we're working on a separate mitigation agreement for the district to respond into that area because we know it's a hot spot. We're gonna still be the closest one to go. It's a hot spot, so we'll have a separate mitigation agreement outside of the automatic aid agreement to help mitigate the costs of the assessed valuation the district court will lose for a period of time, for whatever period of time that would be, probably until the city is able to service that area to the level that they feel they should. But that could be a few years. So that's in a short way to answer your question, I guess. Yes, the city is right up against us there now.
I wondered about that. Okay, thank you.
This nice 7-page document, I'm assuming, was written by, did we have input into the writing of this, or was this the city's attorneys, or how did this come about?
The city might have been the first draft, and then we had some input into it.
And why is it renewed annually versus just ongoing until it's changed? Is there a reason to have to renew it annually versus just having the agreement until someone wants to make a change?
To defer to our attorney on that.
Well, I wasn't part of the negotiations that, I mean, I see both ways in local agreements. I don't know why it was drafted this way, but like I said, I think pretty sure the first draft came from the city. I didn't see any change in it necessarily, so.
I'm just curious. It seems like something that you would want to continue unless something happened and then
Well,
we could change
yeah,
it.
I mean, this is, again, I didn't have a problem with it, you know,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't either.
I think most of our contracts basically automatically renew unless somebody wants to do something different. That's kind of how this renews. So I think won't be a problem.
Okay. So we'll be back here next year.
It'll automatically renew.
No, it'll
Oh, it does.
actually renew, yeah.
Automatically, unless there's notice in 60 days before renewing the term.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the automatic agreement.
I move to approve resolution 2018-20 fire commissioner compensation. No. Excuse me.
Auto aid.
Oh yeah, just above it. I move to approve the auto aid agreement.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Now we move
Now,
on.
resolution.
Well, Larry can't wait to.
Larry, yeah, way to go, Larry.
I'm eager.
All right, resolution 2018-20. This is the question about compensation.
Yeah, Commissioner Chair Bosman and Commissioners, in the last month's meeting, there was a little bit of discussion about this and that we brought the board up to date that the Office of Financial Management had adjusted the dollar threshold for commissioner compensation beginning January 1st, 2019. We weren't quite sure yet of what the amount was, but we're fairly certain now that the compensation will be allowed to be increased to $128 a day for a commissioner that does business, and to a maximum increase of $12,288 annually. And we know in the past that the commissioners have decided to take less money than what was allocated, and I know that you wanted to have some discussion about it. So we put together this resolution that basically describes the compensatable services, activities requiring authorization for compensation, non-compensable activities, as a reminder of the things that commissioners can get compensation for, and then added in the resolution what the compensation will be starting January 1st, 2019. And we bring it before you today for discussion and possible action, so we know what to pay moving forward.
Okay, Kevin, what do you think?
I think this is great. Makes me feel like a U.S. Senator where I set my own wages. First time in my life I've been a U.S. Senator. Set my own wages.
So it's my understanding that about every 5 years, this reevaluation happens. So in 2013, it went from 104 to 114. And so in 2008, it was set at 104, and it's my understanding that bump to 114, this board chose not to take the increase because it was during the recession or at the end of the recession, and they didn't feel like it was fair when everyone else was making concessions to do that. So it's basically been 10 years since there's been any adjustment in that by this board. I'm just the opposite. I see all these politicians that get nailed for giving themselves a pay raise, so I'm really reluctant to actually speak out on this, but you know, I'm gonna anyway. It's hard to say, yeah, I want a pay raise. I mean, but we're talking, you know, pennies here compared to, you know, the time that's put in. I was bouncing some ideas off of my own brain the last couple of days, believe it or not, and thinking, okay, so it didn't take the 114 and it goes to 128. In sort of and I see you left the dollar amount sort of open.
Correct, yes.
So there's really, you know, we can put whatever we want in there as long as it doesn't go over 128.
Right, that's correct, yeah.
So wouldn't it be fair for us to say maybe settle at 120? It's not the highest, it's not the lowest. It kind of, to me, feels like that's kind of sets us in with the rest of the people getting paid here, even though it's not comparing apples to apples, but we're not taking the full amount. I feel like unless we're paying everybody else top dollar, why should we get top dollar, even though, again, it's hard to compare apples to apples, but just a thought.
Larry, John, what do you think?
I've never looked at this as being a U.S. Senator type. So, and I haven't bounced any ideas around in my head the last couple of days about it, but 120 seems to be fair.
I'm happy with that. I had no exact number. I'm totally happy with what Bruce has come up with.
I think 120 is fair. I know everybody on this board and even our senior management actually put more hours in than what we're actually compensated for because it's towards the community, but absolutely.
do you think, Rick?
Well, it was discussed before that the commissioners turned down the raises twice now. And this would be the third time. And seeing that our economy has improved, that everything has turned around, I'd like to know the reason that we have to take it less than the rest of the fire commissioners in Whatcom County are gonna do. I mean, are we expecting to stand as an issue here and everybody else is gonna get 128? And now we say, oh, we're better than you are, we're only gonna get 120, you know? I don't follow. Hard time to put my head around it.
For me, it was just a statement to the rest of the employees of the district to say that, you know, we go to the table and we negotiate, and there's always this, how come you get this and I get this, and to me, it's almost a show of good faith in saying, you know, we're not taking our full amount because we know that you guys can be paid more too, and we just don't have the resources or the ability to do that, at least the way things are currently budgeted. So that may change in the future. I don't know, but I guess it was a feel-good thing.
Yeah, if we were doing this for the money, I sure wouldn't be here, I can tell you that. So, and I agree with Bruce, it's, you know, we sit here and I'm just gonna say, we try to do our due diligence when we're negotiating union contracts. We try to do our due diligence when we're going up for bids and fixing roofs. I think it's only fair. I mean, it's not a money necessity for this board. We're here for the community. But you know, the time that we do spend, it's a generous offer. And I think the 120 that Bruce has suggested is fair. We haven't taken our raises. I know what you're saying. The board hasn't done it even before my time, looking back at the records.
Twice.
Yeah, and I understand that. But to me, this is about our community and looking after our funds. If anybody gets raised, it's our volunteers or our frontline union guys. And that's who gets it first, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, does anybody have a motion?
Okay, yeah, I'd like to approve this resolution at $120, resolution 218-20, fire commissioners compensation at $120.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. Now we move on to, I think we have some more resolutions, don't we?
Four.
300, new business, 2018-17, 18-19 and 21, or 18-19, 17, 18, and 19 are all surplus ones, so you want to address these at all?
Other than just to let you know that we've gone through and we've been trying over this, you might have noticed over the last year or so, we've really tried to surplus a lot of stuff that we got here in the district that's just sitting around and it needs to be surplus. And so we appreciate the commissioners being patient and helping us to get rid of some of this stuff that's been taking up space. So the first three resolutions are for the surplus of equipment. The first resolution, 2018-17, is for the surplus of 2 refrigerators. Well, I believe you'll need to take these one at a time to approve them, so we'll start with that one.
All right, is there a motion to approve 2018-17 for the surplus refrigerators?
I'll put the motion forward and second it.
I'll second.
Second, okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. 18, siren.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I think we talked about this a little bit at the last meeting, but also in the consent agenda, I think it was in there, but you'll see pictures associated with this. We have an alert siren that's been sitting out back for a while that needs to be gotten rid of.
Okay. I would move that we approve resolution 2018-18 surplus siren. Is there a second?
Second.
Want me to discuss it for a second?
No. All right, go ahead, I'm sorry, discuss.
Well, maybe it's the historical part of me, but I was just wondering if this is a piece of our history, and are we throwing it out? If it's the only volunteer alert siren that was ever part of this district, is that a piece of our history that we want to preserve? And, I mean, if it were me, I'd put it on the top of my house or something. I can be the new Birch Bay warning sign, signal.
We should deliver it to your house.
No. Tsunami warning, yeah.
You tested at 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
It works. Air raid siren.
It is 3-phase, so you're gonna have to increase the power.
Okay, all right, I'll get some solar. No, I mean, I don't know, if I'm out of line here, I don't know if I can throw it out to the local or anyone here if there's any desire to have a piece of the volunteer history somewhere still left in the district, if anybody cares.
Where did it come from, Henry? It was a Custer siren.
Sure, yeah.
On the roof, and are you out in Franklin?
Yeah, I am.
So I've lived in this community my entire life, and actually that siren was why I became a volunteer here. I used to live in the Custer area. I used to hear it go off. Was very intrigued with it when I became old enough to be a volunteer here. That's where I started, and either to the benefit of the district or to the chagrin of some, that's why I'm here today. I agree it's a big part of history. I'm not sure what we would do with it. If the district is surplusing it for garbage, I would ask if they would donate it to the local, and then we would, if we went to scrap it or sell it, we would write up an agreement to put any proceeds towards the benevolent fund. But if it, or if it's for sale at high bid or whatever, I know there's some rules about having employees bid on that, but with the attorney here, maybe there are some legal ways to make that happen because of the historical value of that. I totally understand the district not want to hang on to a museum piece, but there may be somebody that's interested. I mean, I could add it to my stash of stuff too, but until we can figure it out. But
well, I want to check with Mr. Davis, but I'm assuming, excuse me, when first we got the surplus, right?
You have to surplus it. If it has no value, then there's no problem in giving it away. But I have no idea if there's any value to this.
So I've been corrected. I just got a text from one of our viewers that we still have one at 69 on the roof.
There is one there.
So we do have more than one.
There you go.
I guess that would be from the original. It would be from the original District 13. The other one's still up at City Hall, the City of Wayne. But that is the original District 13 one. There was no other District 13 fire station with that siren. And maybe an old Custer volunteer may want it for their collection as well. But
yeah, either way, I understand we have to surplus it. I just wanted to bring it up for discussion, so it just didn't sort of.
And definitely the only value would be scrap steel.
Right.
Okay, so
There'd be no value.
we would surplus it, and post-surplusing is something handled by who?
It's handled by our staff. I mean, obviously, I take the recommendations from staff on what they want to surplus, and so Chief Hollander is pretty much principal in charge of that. So I'd leave it up to him on what happens to the material after it's surplus, whether we sell it or whether we give it away or scrap it.
Okay.
All right.
What was your address, Bruce?
You better not show up in my driveway.
All right, any more discussion on this? The motion is on the floor and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
All right, we move on to some historical hose. 2018-19 surplus hose.
Self-explanatory on this one, Commissioners. Just leftover failed annual testing bad hose. Exhibit A is a full listing of all of the serial numbers for all the hose that failed. And we have a lot of old hose, so we're just getting rid of a lot of old stuff.
So if it fails its test, it's not of value to anybody else, like if we ship it to a foreign country or anything like that, what happens?
They'll take it.
They will. Okay.
So after we surplus it, we can possibly do it.
Yeah, I'd make a phone call.
Good. Put to good use. All right, so, anybody want to make a motion to surplus?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
2018-19. And there's,
Surplus those.
surplus. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now we got a cancellation of a warrant. Resolution 2018-21.
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, yes, we do have a cancellation of a warrant in the amount of $112.84. It's my understanding that this is to Cascade Fire Equipment, that the equipment was received and returned. So we just need to cancel the check for that.
I move to approve.
All right.
I'll second it.
2018-21.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Approved. Anything on policies and procedures?
No policies and procedures, sir.
Correspondence you've had, any questions or comments on that? Okay. Board attendance 12:20.
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Dean?
I'm just double checking. I believe I am good.
Larry?
Yes.
And John too.
And John?
Check. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Everybody's on board for that one?
Yeah.
So far, all right.
You don't have anything between now and then, right?
No.
Okay.
Budget hearing.
Okay.
All right. I'm assuming there's no public comment. Nobody signed up. Okay. Agenda items for next meeting will be volunteer firefighter oath of office.
I didn't think they would report from Ron
Okay, report from Commissioner Ansel on Ron Haraki.
How do you pronounce his
Right.
last name?
Haraki.
Haraki.
The budget hearing. And it seems like there's one other thing.
I have an additional item to add to that list. We're gonna have an addendum for the commissioners to review and approve to the public records request policy. There was a slight change to the way that we charge for medical records that was determined, and so our attorney has rewritten that section for us free of charge, and we'll submit that to you for approval at next month's meeting. Free of charge.
We hope this is a pattern that will continue.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
And then I'm assuming on there will be an ongoing chief search
Yeah.
update. Okay. All right, and we're gonna have an executive session, which I'm guessing will take us until 3 o'clock. And it's for RCW 40.30.110, section 1C, relating to real estate, sale or lease. The wording is there in the minutes, in the agenda. And also 40.30.110G, to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment. And there will be likely action on both of these at the end of the executive session. So, we will break into executive session. If it's later than 3 o'clock, we will come out and let you know, or if it's earlier, we will come out and let you know. Okay, we're back from executive session at 3:08 PM. And we'll have two motions to present. The first one will be in reference to the Northwood Store agreement with the Brennan proposal. So I would entertain a motion to approve the contract that was drawn up by our attorneys for the switching, the exchange of the egress and parking for maintenance. And it's in the contract which is been presented to us.
I'm going to say so moved, because I don't want to repeat all that.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, the section, I think it was six.
Except was 6.12.1.
6.12.1.
Yeah, so one slight change to section 6.2.1, correct?
Yes, would be amended.
Yeah, gotta have that amended page 8.
So that's on page 8, 6.12.1, and you're going to change termination due to change of ownership will be the new language on that. Can I be clear on that?
I say so moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Will you be in contact with Jim, or should I just?
How would you like me to do it?
I just maybe make that change.
I have already.
Okay, and you just email it to me, and then with the board's permission, I'll meet with the Brennics and present to them.
Okay.
And then it's just a matter of signature in front of a notary. And let me see, who needs to sign that, Rich, do you know?
I think the chair of the board is.
Looks like I'll need to sign it.
Yeah.
In front of a notary.
Yeah.
Is the board okay with that?
Yes.
All right, I'll take care of that. All right.
I'm a notary, if we needed that free of charge.
This is probably on page 10, Rich, it says Whatcom County Fire Rescue District 21, president, should that be?
Chair.
Chair.
The secretary would be the chief, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you might think about at the, I don't know, maybe the January board meeting, maybe the December board meeting, changing the secretary to the interim chief. I think there's something you have to do on that. Is there something you have to do
How much?
on the board secretary? It has to switch from me to Jeff,
Yeah, next
and
month,
the board has to
December.
make a resolution or something on that, right?
So if we don't sign it before that, then make that change. Okay, everybody's clear on that?
Oh, I already have it.
Yes. Good. Great. We'll move on to the second issue. We entertain a motion in reference to the interim fire chief selection. Is there a motion on that?
We need Joe Newchester's name in the motion to approve him as interim chief. I'll move to that effect. Approve.
Okay, so there's a motion to appoint Assistant Chief Newchester to the upcoming position of interim fire chief.
I'll second it.
Second, discussion?
No.
Okay. And I would assume that this would then take effect January 1 with whatever contractual agreements there are for duties and pay to accompany that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved.
Thank you very much.
You have a lot of support.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
We're ready for signing documents.
Yeah.
I don't know if it should be so basic.
The smile just got bigger.
Yeah, the laughing one, that's what got me.
Oh, it's fine. You're getting the honeydew phase.